What's up everybody, hope all is well. So Overwatch 2 is going free to play. It's officially a live service. A lot of opinions on the matter, some positive, some negative. The reveal event shared some information about it, but I have more questions than answers. As with any live service, its value varies from game to developer, and therein lies the rub. This is Blizzard, known to struggle with timely content releases and for having some questionable monetization practices. Diablo Immortal says hello, so I'm nervous. That being said, I do think it's good for the Overwatch franchise, not because of the money, rather the players. Eliminating barriers to entry entirely can't be overstated. Player count is the cornerstone of modern gaming, and the best way to create a massive following is by simply making it free. Don't get me wrong, the money's nice, but it's just a byproduct of free-to-play popularity and a developer's greed. No, free-to-play works because it's accessible. It's that simple. And look, it's somewhat of a zero-sum winner-take-all industry. Free-to-play games get the most players, make the most money, and thus have the player interest and budget to keep themselves perpetually on top. Why does free-to-play have such a bad rap? Where to start, right? I think the primary reason is that we associate free-to-play with pay-to-win, but that just doesn't apply to Overwatch. It's homogenized on purpose. You can't change your weapon or gear or consume a drink to get better and win, so unless they find a way to sell skill, I don't think we have to worry. PvE, on the other hand, well, that's a different matter entirely, so who knows? Next reason, cheaters, trolls, and smurfs. It's true, it's worse in free-to-play games. It's just inherent to the model because players can create as many free accounts as they want and thus act poorly without repercussions. Consoles have been able to do this from day one, and it's been a plague on the platform. Good news on this front, Blizzard appears to have added a mobile phone number requirement to Overwatch 2. While far from perfect, it could, in theory, help mitigate some of this bad behavior. Regardless, we should all expect a significant uptick in the nonsense. Another reason people don't like free-to-play, time-gated, paywalled content. A lot of new content gets locked behind a battle pass that costs money, and after you've paid, you have to play a lot to grind the levels and unlock everything before the next season starts. Failure to do so means you've permanently lost the items you paid for but didn't play enough to unlock. Conveniently, read sarcastically, most games sell you level skip items for real money. And that leads me to the final reason free-to-play games get a bad rap. Ironically, they typically end up costing you more money. In all fairness, they are technically free-to-play, but each free-to-play game and genre has their tricks to get you into some sort of battle pass and cash shop. An especially easy feat if you actually like the game. Not all free-to-play games are exploitive about it, but it only takes a few bad apples to ruin the bunch. Diablo Immortal says hello again. But it's not always bad. There has to be a method behind the madness. So many successful games are free to play, and successful not just financially, but in terms of raw player count. By all appearances, for some, it's working. And we even see glimmers of its true potential, using the insane amount of money to expand the universe with things like Arcane, Riot's animated Netflix series, and Activision got Tim the Tatman in a commercial. Wait a minute. I love you, Timmy.
Don't worry, mate. He's with me. Won't be needing this. Scope. Scope. No scope. You see what I did there? You got it, right?
I think Overwatch is positioned to maybe navigate the complex transition and capitalize on its returns. It has a lot of potential as an IP to attract a lot of players and make a lot of money. If done right and done well, it could catapult the game back into the stratosphere of pop culture. Maybe not like the original, but perhaps equally, just differently. At least that's the hope. Whether or not Blizzard executes is another matter.
Dreams can go down.
Look, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of free-to-play games, at least not as the industry currently implements them. We all agree they're usually exploitive, a grind, more expensive, and with the same or even less content. By and large, the gameplay experience suffers. Well, let's do our best to compartmentalize all that and look at Overwatch specifically. I'm hopeful it's an outlier and the Overwatch team will implement a free-to-play system that focuses on the right thing, attracting players, not profits. But that's just a hope. Let's dig a little deeper. Momentum. Put simply, the player counts and revenue free-to-play models generate enable games with a lot of potential, like Overwatch, to meet said potential. Enough players and money to fund game development, esports, sponsor stream events, make TV shows, even entirely new business ventures. Enough money to keep a constant stream of content in one form or another beaming into our eyeballs, because that's what it's really all about. Every entertainment company is fighting for our attention, and the more they can do to keep the brand relevant and top of mind, the more likely you'll get interested, stay interested, and keep spending. So it's just this cycle of marketing hype and a netcast so wide implied that new life and new blood are always being injected into the game. Absent this regular cadence, eventually interest fades and it's just a death spiral down into obscurity. You can see in the 2017 annual report, Blizzard was already well aware of this and moving in that direction. Here's a figure to put things in perspective. In 2021, Fortnite made an estimated $6 billion. Overwatch made a generously estimated $800 million. Granted, $800 million is a lot of money, but in today's world, competing against juggernauts like Fortnite, it just doesn't cut it. So whether you think free-to-play models are warranted or not, reality is they're here. Profits are just too good to pass up, and with every major game and publisher on board, particularly in the AAA competitive FPS genre, that proverbial ship has sailed. Overwatch is actually late to the party. If they want to be in the same conversation as Warzone, Apex, Valorant, Fortnite, or even Halo, their hand is forced. Those games have been doing it for years, are super popular, and making billions in the process. ABK's annual reports are a telling story. In 2021, Call of Duty, WoW, and Candy Crush franchises accounted for 82% of revenues, about $7.5 billion. All the great franchises not mentioned, Hearthstone, Diablo, Overwatch, StarCraft, and Heroes of the Storm, accounted for just $1.5 billion. And shortly after, they state they're increasingly dependent on and exposed to the free-to-play business model. You can see they've been aware of the trend and need to further monetize games and expand audiences since 2017 at least, and so it was only a matter of time until Overwatch, perhaps the most obvious fit, went free-to-play. So does Overwatch need to go free-to-play? Technically, financially, they don't. Based on their annual reports, I suspect its revenues have actually increased the last 3 years, and they make enough off loot boxes and alt accounts to, quote-unquote survive. If you're a purist, it's full stop here. But again, Overwatch is a great IP made by one of the biggest developers on the planet and now owned by freaking Microsoft. It's a AAA tier product and thus needs to be funded and evolved to compete on that playing field. And perhaps more importantly, it needs access to the players. So I'm inclined to say, yeah, I think Overwatch 2 does need to go free to play. But there's a silver lining to free-to-play games that doesn't get mentioned enough. It gives players a more active and vocal role in a game's development. If players don't like the direction, they don't participate in the monetization. Developers either change course to align with player sentiment or suffer the financial consequences. And a battle pass sort of holds a developer's feet to the fire. They can't say it's done when it's done anymore. Whatever it takes, they have to adhere to the battle pass schedule. It pleases me to know that people who couldn't afford the game or just weren't willing to pay now get a chance to experience it barrier-free. I play free-to-play and Game Pass games with friends frequently simply because they're free. And we've discovered some absolute gems. State of Decay 2 co-op anyone, it's fantastic. Being free-to-play means millions of people around the world might stumble into Overwatch for the first time on a whim and discover its magic. Half of them will be Hanzo mains, but whatever. But I'm going to leave myself an out here. Everything I've said is predicated on the assumption Blizzard can pull it off and do it right. I'm hopeful they can, but I have to say it's off to a sketchy, did I say sketchy? I meant shaky, a shaky start. Alright, here we go, the Overwatch 2 live service. Can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. First, the watch point pack. $40, people are outraged, I get it. I don't think it's the price so much as the principle. The thing everyone really wants, beta access, is locked behind a paywall, and a pricey one at that, with items few want and which appear to unjustly inflate its price. But in all fairness, in terms of its actual value, I think it's reasonable. Beta access, 2 legendary skins, Season 1 Battle Pass, 2,000 virtual currency, and what is probably everybody's 3rd or 4th copy of Overwatch. The skins, Battle Pass, and virtual currency is probably a $40 value. Figure $10 for the Battle Pass, $10 for the skins, and $20 for the currency. The right thing to do would be to offer a beta key and Battle Pass only combo at a reduced price, but let me point out what's really going on here. I recently made a video about Diablo Immortal that goes pretty deep on the psychological tactics games employ to get players spending. I recommend checking it out if interested. Researching it all was eye-opening and one of those things you can't unsee. Now I see it everywhere, including Overwatch 2. Why is Watchpoint Pack the way it is? Habit forming and endowed progress. By providing artificial advancement towards a goal, players exhibit greater motivation towards reaching that goal. Including these freebies is the best way to get players started and hooked on a system. Maybe I'm looking too deep, but to me it's transparent. Again, not the price, the principle. All that being said, I don't think it's such a huge deal. It's within Blizzard's right to reward those who are willing to support the game in the future, and as I said, it's not a bad deal per se, just a bad look. They really should have a bare bones bundle, just the Battle Pass and beta access. Little missed opportunities to reward those who've supported the game in the past are certainly not helping their rep. With that out of the way, let's take a more in-depth look at the Battle Pass. So what do we know so far? Not much, but here are the major points. Seasons will rotate every 9 weeks, so 5 to 6 a year. We'll get a new hero every other Battle Pass, so 3 a year. And in between new heroes, we'll get either a new map or game mode, so 3 a year. There will be at least 2 tiers, free and premium. There will be challenges, and it appears to be 100 levels, 10 pages of 10 levels displayed. And the ace up their sleeve for not just the Battle Pass, but the free-to-play scheme as a whole is that PvE will be included on release. Assuming the premium pass costs $10, which is still TBD, you're looking at $60 a year. 3 new heroes a year is the same as we had before going free to play, so not sure what happened, but that's a disappointment. Challenges are just placeholders at the moment, but Blizz needs to make sure they don't make the same mistake Halo did and create ones that don't fit or actively sabotage the game. Rewards are also TBD, but we know they're adding a whole suite of cosmetics like weapon charms and banners, so expect to see that stuff in addition to skins and virtual currency. My guess is most information has been held back so Blizz can gauge reaction to what's been shown thus far and adjust prices and content accordingly. Beyond skins, my hunch is XP boosters will be included as the core monetization item. Taking the industry average of about 2 hours playtime per Battle Pass level, we can see it'll take 200 hours over 9 weeks to complete, about 3.2 hours a day. That's a lot. That's excessive. That's broken even, but that's the shady trick behind a Battle Pass. Make the grind unbearable and sell players a way out in the cash shop. But let me close with this. Blizzard, if you're listening, make the Battle Pass roll over like Halo does so they don't expire and 99.9% of your problems go away. Or at least make it so you can progress through the pass and buy it in the end should you unlock everything you wanted. Players have demonstrated their willingness to participate in a Battle Pass system when done fairly. But taking away items players paid for simply because they don't have 100 hours a month to play your game is unfair and predatory and a bit exploitative. We all know what you want to do, make everything time limited just so you can sell it again, but it's transparent and just further falters your ailing reputation. So, final thoughts. I'm as nervous as you. It's a big change and easy to be doubtful of Blizzard these days. Can they still create compelling content? Can they do so without gouging players? I don't know. I like to believe the Overwatch team can and does rise above the typical Activision Blizzard garbage, and being on a Microsoft will, in my opinion, help avoid that stuff even more, but it's natural to be dubious. For the most part, I'm a hard no when it comes to free-to-play games, but if there's one IP I'm willing to work with and be hopeful of, it's Overwatch. I sincerely think this change can mark the start of a second life for the brand. In a few months, tens of millions of people could be playing again, and with record profits, we could see a renaissance. Within the year, it's likely to be on Game Pass as well. Of course, if Blizz maintains their exploitative trajectory, it could outright kill it. Only time will tell. And with that, I'm done. Appreciate you taking the time. Take care of one another, and I will see you soon.